Yeah.
In my first book, I Take My Coffee Black, a big chunk of it is me talking about how horrible I was with women. Mm-hmm. And I had to pay the price of that from people that had read it, and it was published, and I put it out there. And there was a lot of discussion. People would talk about this. They were like, I loved I Take My Coffee Black. About 3/4 of the way through, it was hard for me to figure out who the antagonist or protagonist of the story was. Couldn't figure out if I liked you or not. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And they were like, I had to go through the entirety of the book to realize not only do I like him, but I appreciate the fact that he was honest and he was vulnerable. Yeah. Right? But this changes everything. We're talking about health there specifically, but I'm very aware that my ability to talk about my own personal health struggle 100% is going to affect the way that people walk through their own health from here on out. And even on this book tour that I've been on, I've been seeing it every single day. I got a message yesterday where someone just simply said, I'm going to go to my doctor tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And I thought, if that was the only thing that came from anything that I ever wrote before, is this gentleman saying, I'm going to go to my doctor tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then that vulnerability paid off. And that's something that I think, especially as Black men, we not only need to begin to be more vulnerable, we need to understand that not only is it okay, but I think it is something that needs to become mandatory to who we are. Because I do think that vulnerability is going to be one of the keys to changing the world directly.
Do you think that there has been space provided for that yet? Meaning, so Bell Hooks talks about, I'm going to butcher this quote. So sure, hopefully they fix it, but essentially she says, everyone is telling the man to talk, share your feelings. And if the men say tomorrow at 2 p.m., we're all going to start talking about how we feel, everyone will cut the TV off. Mm-hmm. Is there space provided for us? Are there people with open arms waiting to hold us when we are open about our vulnerability with, like you said, our health, our vulnerability with our feelings in general? Because, like I was saying about masculinity in general, like a lot of it is external, meaning also our worth is placed on our ability to fix things.
Sure.
Right. Is there space for our worth to also be tied to our vulnerability?
I would say the same way James Baldwin has always said that we aren't right at space. We have to take that space, So generally, do I think, is there space made for that? No, there is not. But we are a people that create space for the things that there is not space for. And we need to continue to do that. Just because there is not any space there does not mean that we do not have to attempt to inhabit that place. And that is a hard thing to say. And it sounds almost,
I was going to say, why haven't we? We've had a lot of time to know.
Well, I think one of the reasons why is because we are not seeing enough examples of people that look like us who are choosing to be vulnerable in the midst of a world that does not want us to be. For example, man, you can, a video, do you remember when there was the video of Black men frolicking?
Oh, yes. Frolic Friday.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And all it was Black men go, oh, so we frolicking? And going around, and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people were watching this thing, obsessed with it, laughing and smiling because Black men were doing something that we weren't expecting them to do.
Yeah.
And it was frolicking in a field.
And we had, the interesting thing is we had access to the word frolicking.
Right.
We didn't come out and say, we're running in fields today. We presented it as Frolic Friday, meaning frolicking was a dream we held.
Right.
That we had not seen space for. It was a dream that we held and we had not seen space for, and we put it out there. And we answered, to your point, this is why I like where you went with it, by carving out more space for it.
100%.
I mean, they found fields. I was looking like, yo, now where did they find those dandelion? Where did they find that dandelion field to frolic in? I had been frolicking through strips of paper. And
there was something about continually watching another black man, somebody else, who's maybe
another shade,
light skin, dark skin,
top fade.
You're watching all these things, man. You find yourself going, okay, we are creating space for this thing. And I think being vulnerable, especially as black men, the more that we do it, but to be fair, I'm over here pouring my heart out and this changes everything. And I take my coffee black, but we need to deal with the systemic racial issue and the fact that it's hard for black men to be vulnerable, not just because there's space, but because vulnerability, admits that there is a safe space to do so. And black men are not familiar with or are normally in safe places.
Yeah.
So you have to decide whether I'm in a safe place or not. I'm going to create this space on my own. I'm going to lay out this vulnerable thing, whether it be about my health, whether it be about my romantic relationships and how it's difficult to be married or difficult to find a mate or sexual struggles that individuals have or hard to be a father or easy to be a father or what it's like to love your parents or not love your parents or to talk about how there's a stigma that black boys just only go, yes, mom, yes, mom, yes, mom. There's a lot of black men out there that have private relationships with their mothers that don't want to talk about it because that's a whole cultural crap show. You know what I mean?
So, and to talk about it almost feels like it is to position yourself against the only thing that we have, which is that they somehow get it right. You know, it's crazy. Again, just the way that we put on them, but then also, like you said, to take up that space by ourselves takes a certain level of intention and reprogramming both yourself and the environment.
Yeah.
Because you could be in danger frolicking. You're really good. If you gather,
bro, you ain't never lied, dog.
Frolicking, there's a reason. I say this to my white friends. And my mom, because she's outside of the generation, there's a reason that right now we say stay dangerous. Like Nipsey said, it used to be stay safe, now it's stay dangerous.
Yeah.
And then because who is then, killed,
right,
for not staying dangerous, air quotes for listeners, not having, his gun on him because he thought he was in a safe space.
Sure.
You could be killed for frolicking.
Yes.
And so it takes a certain level of intention because we have seen, again, like, hell, for all intents and purposes, Nipsey was frolicking.
Yeah.
Man, he was frolicking. He's in the neighborhood. That's his built, cultivated area and space.
He built a culture.
Why would I need a weapon here? Here is where I frolic. And I have given so much to this space. When he was murdered, me and my wife wept. Right? Because the other weird thing about that in general is we remember when you couldn't see stuff like that online.
Right.
So we saw him shake online. We saw this occur and we in real time existed until the time of death. And we wept because here again was a moment where a black man did everything right and we killed him. Irregardless of how you feel about, conspiracy theory, so we could do the same thing about her. There's two brothers that go in there, shoot him, and I think the FBI. But again, to my point about Jay-Z, I want to live in a world where they could never pay us to do that.
Right.
They have to show you have to pull up as a white man in Crenshaw and do this dirt yourself. There's no one here you can pay because he did everything right. He got everything there to where he was from. Like we said earlier, where he was from and should have been protected.
Right.
You would have had to come up there in the whole suit to get it done, is where I would like to think.
Which makes sense why we aren't just casually vulnerable. Makes more sense why we aren't casually anything. And,
we aren't casually.
It's the truth though. And then we stick to.
We're not even casual. Like we wear our shoes. Like it is.
Right. Everything. There's no casual anything. And with that, man, we are continually fighting to be not only who we hope to be, who we dream to be, but we're taking a chance to do something like, with This Changes Everything. The subtitle is a surprisingly funny book about race, cancer, faith, and other things that we don't talk about. And I added that subtitle after I was probably 3/4 of the way writing through the book, because I found myself going, God, I'm finding so much humor in all of this pain. But for me, I feel like that's my plight, my story as a Black man in America. And I need to be able to communicate this. I need to be vulnerable about it. I was talking to somebody recently about how we forget how much Martin Luther King smiled. He was a prankster. He was a joker. We had, he had a persona. He purposely, because the media wanted to always stay serious and always to the point and always Jesus-y. But in reality, this was a gentleman who, as soon as he walked off the stage, was, making fun of John Lewis. Was slapping people up against the head and doing all these things. And that's what I feel like it means to be us in a place where we were never meant to be great in the United States.
Yeah.
We never were. That was never the plan. Was these Black people here one day will be great. And we have done every single thing that we can to continue to make space for greatness. Yeah. Whether there's space there for me or not, I'm going to continue to make it. And for me, it starts with proximity and vulnerability.
Word. Man, it's been a dope conversation.
Yo, man, we could go all day.
But days, bro. I appreciate you stopping by, man.
Yeah.